When is a church not a church? It might seem the start of a children's joke, but it's a reasonable question. What makes a church a church? Can we get to the stage that a church is no longer a church unless it does certain things? What are those things that differentiate a church from being a social club, for example, or an activist group, or just a museum of what church used to be? When we've grown up in a certain church or been attending that church for a long time, we might think that that is what a church is. We may be very familiar with what we have called church, but is our definition the same as others? What if we look at Scripture and see how church is defined there? Are we the same? Are there differences? Did the early church do things that we don't, and were we right to give them up? In this series, we're invited to take a fresh look at our church. Is it healthy and thriving, doing what churches do? Or is it healthy and thriving, but just not as a church? We have an opportunity to reflect as a group, bringing our own perspectives and being open to the possibility that God is calling us to be church differently. Session 2 looks at the spiritual dimension of being church. What does being a community of followers of Christ look like in our context? And are we growing spiritually and numerically? Session 3 looks at the practical criteria of being a church. Are we self-governing within the context of the connectional nature of our church, being part of a circuit, a district, and a national connection? And are we self-financing, not just providing for ourselves, but meeting the needs of the wider connection, where wealthier churches may support those who are not so well off or are at the coalface of mission? At the end, there will be an opportunity to reflect on how well your church meets the criteria of being a church. What can we celebrate? What needs more work? How can we proceed to make our church a healthier church? We look forward to receiving your feedback. Thank you.